All right, geometry guys, let us talk about points, lines, and planes. So you need to be able to identify points, lines, planes in geometrical drawings and be able to explain what they are. So a point is a location with neither a shape or size. Basically, it is a dot, and it is named by one letter. So example, point P is right there, or point R, or point F, point H, point S. There's named by one letter. A line is a made up of points with no thickness or width, and there is exactly one line through any 2 points. That is one of the most basic geometric, what we call axioms. An axiom is just something that we assume is true without ever actually having to prove it. So a line is named by 2 letters with the line symbol above. So kind of an example, if I'm looking at line PR, okay, the way that will be written is not RP, PR, like that, with the line above it. But what's fun is that I could also do, RP, that's going to be the same thing, that's representing it. A plane is a flat surface made up of points that extend indefinitely in all directions. There's exactly one plane through any 3 points. So what I need to do is realize this. There's exactly one plane through any 3 points, and it is named by 2 things, either a letter in the corner or 3 non-collinear points. So if this is like X, it would be plane X. Or if I've got RST, it would be plane RST. They cannot be from the same line. So if I've got RTN, this is a line, I cannot name the plane RTN because I would get it confused with line RTN. So it's got to be 3 non-collinear points. So what does it mean to be collinear? Collinear is very, very simple. Collinear just means on the same line. So collinear. A, B, and C are all collinear. They are on the same line. Wow, that's terrible. On the same line. So coplanar is, wait for it, coplanar simply means on the same plane. On the same plane. So if you haven't figured out yet, this is kind of how we sketch a plane. And all that happens is this. If I have this line and I have this line, these 2 lines are said to be coplanar. Okay, sometimes, they'll put just a little line next to it, a little letter next to it to mark the line. So I can say line N and M are coplanar. Intersection. Intersection is exactly what it sounds like. It is where 2 things cross. So it is where 2 things cross. So 2 lines intersect to form a point. 2 planes intersect and where they intersect is going to be a line. So 2 lines intersect to form a point, 2 planes intersect to form a line. So name the geometric term modeled by each object. So this would be a floor, this would be a flat space. I'm going to call this one a plane. A tower, well, I would represent that as basically a line. And a push pin right down here, no size, no space, that's going to be a point. So name a line containing point K. Well, there's about 15 different ways to do that. So if I've got K, well, I can call it JK, I can call it JL, I can call it KL, I can just call it A. So a plane containing point L is going to be a little bit different. First off, for number 7, the easy one, I can call it just plane B because that's down in the corner. What is another name for the point? I would call it JKM. I would call it JLM. I would call it KLM. I would call it, that would be about it. About the only one I can't do is say, I can't call it plane JKL because JKL are all collinear. I cannot do that. So, for here, name 3 collinear points. Well, these are all on one line, so I'm going with that. A, B, D. Our points A, B, C, D, coplanar. No, I mean, technically, you could draw a plane that would encompass all of them. You could do that, but for right now, we're going to say no. So identify the planes in this picture. Well, we have plane K, and that's about it. That's about it. So what is the intersection of BD and AC? Well, BD and AC are going to mark at point A. And what should tip me off is that this is a line, this is a line. So it better be a point for an answer. Letter B, K and AD. Well, this is a plane, and this is a line. Plane K and BD, they're going to intersect at point B. K and M, notice how M is on K. So I'm just going to say line M. Because that entire line is on the thing, that's what I'm going to say. So draw. So line N intersects plane P at point I. Well, there's a perfect example right there. You have a plane, you have a line that goes through it, and it intersects at a point. It is not on the plane, it is merely intersecting it. So lines B and Y are coplanar in plane Q, but do not intersect. Line C intersects point B at line B at point C and line D at point Y. This is one example. It's a pretty good example of what you're talking about. You have line B and Y that are not intersecting. X goes through both of them, hits point C and point D. So R and B intersect at XY. Boop, there you go. One letter indicates that it should be a plane. So 2 planes intersecting look like that, and where they intersect is a line. For some reason, a lot of kids like to screw that up. All right, that is all I've got. Come talk to me with questions. Watch this at least one time to make sure that you know what you're doing.